This is Dr. Justina Agnieszka Chevalier. This is the continuation of legal aspects. Remember, legal aspects start with exact and precise obtention, non-forceful one. So you've noticed my tone. You see, I would never speak in such way to a person with full understanding of voice and messages. We speak in that way when, this is a digression, when person is problems hearing, or there are others, for instance. So the exact and precise confession as to what happened. We do not pursue admissions to guilts or faults when these are explainable in that person's story. We want person's story, and that you have to understand as correctional officer, medical professional, whoever it is that was led to detaining of a person, or led to a person locked up somewhere in any facility or in any sort of remediative institution. Person, source of information, is sole way to obtain of that information, nobody else's. If you create an impression that you pursue disguising of crime, sexual intentions of another person, be it to the best or to the worst of the outcomes of that person, or you in fear of self being harmed, insinuate self-harm as if that person was incapacitated, insinuate that that person has intentions to harm others, and in causing severe distress, threats, and causing pain, extort confessions, you can torture that person. And in torture, remember, pain as in fire to a skin, and try to pinch yourself. How long can you sustain it? Not very long. If pain creates suffering, if it does not, that person in love, impeded from pursuit of children, offers self to potential or actual persons in exchange of sexual activity in own well-being, pending sexual pursuit of that person's one another's relationship, and that is from a mid-business and an illusion that you can solve. How do we solve it? Couple of origins, given if loving, chance again to pursue sexual activity, blocked only by physical, impossible to remediate a possibility. In jails, as in that video about declaration of mutual love, possible to the only way that the mind relationship can continue in physical impressions as source of mutual satisfaction, informal confession of marriage, that if that is a lifelong sentence, that these persons can pursue also, and then they have no longer that messiah or that offering self by self or by others in pain. So do not impede obtention of moral justice by creating fear, creating pain, creating any sort of confusions, and by lack of continuity of action. Make sure you obtain state of facts. If it makes you angry, it makes you angry, and add emotions. Again, I repeat, all of negative emotions that bring in you, how can he laugh? He killed someone. Ask yourself, who was threatening that person? Who insisted on long-term infliction of pain in omission of such a source of distress in the past and led to such, for instance? Who made that person scared? Who tried to kill that person? Who had such degree of disparity that when that person was starved and frozen, ignored that person in assumption of sexual pursuits, offending that person, and pursued what that belonged to that person to offer to the other person despite the imprint of another person as a love token. Remember, all of that is worse of a sex life and no pursuit of children, because it creates fear of you. Fear in females that you're gonna do the same to her or to a child if you hurt another female. Fear in men, if you did that to another man, that if you have a son or if you're alone with that woman, you will find some reason to hurt her. So that is why we pursue well-being of others, and that enables us to have all successful relationships, and we pursue no disparities. And so remember, confession first. Secondly, we're gonna talk here, confessions inform what happened. Then remember, negative emotions, harm in others, we establish direct or indirect own participation, and direct and indirect participation as victim of that person. We do not imply, remember, anger means I disagree. Laughing means, contempt means I disagree with you. You don't know. So pursue information. Then do not do this, I'm gonna oppress you, because you are the primal rival, ladies and gentlemen. Primal rival, representing somebody else connected to you, if a female, and it's a man, and if a man representing self, and if a female and a man in trouble, primal rival if impersonating a lover. And remember, sex, if you do not love person, you will not enjoy it, you will harm that person and accuse. So be clear, sex and work, not compatible. Remediation in pursuit of a man as you. A woman is not a man, no woman is a man. The person tries to help you to pursue somebody else. Now, the confession leads to asking for legal assistance, a representation, when you know. And first step, ladies and gentlemen, for all of mass media, that statement of objective what happened with good emotions, no hatred, no sorrow, no nothing, or pure sorrow, for instance, goes to the press. And then you, as source, delegate to journalists an assessment of what can happen in court. You don't know that. It is social crime to present things distorted as already crimes, even witnessed because you don't know. It led to mass hatred and murders. And to remember, you don't know, you do not present it as facts. You don't have a confession. You don't present that person as fault. You pressured person. You don't know about the emotions as indicators of fault and proportionality of fault and involvement of you also as victim. You do not know all. So remember, provide basic needs. Person hungry, angry or scared will not provide information. Use also jail. Ask if person, do you feel unsafe? Ask. Would you like to use facility? Provide a key. Make a distinction. The person is there to provide for safety. Or provide another facility. Make a distinction. You need information? Ask person. Would you be so kind and provide me all of the information of what happened? Use many persons. Never it is that person, even one, even all persons insisting that person was at fault. A person angry, person silent, whatever you read in face, that indicates directions and vectors in space, and person has to have pure emotions, read as if positive emotions. That person will have regret and remorse, and what to do, pursue remediative action as described. And when regret, then that brings us death penalty. To death penalty. I, in person, think that all of death penalty instances, and also as a public information and as a fact, all of assisted suicide and all of also euthanasia is a result of directly inflicted or inflicted by negligence of ongoing infliction of pain somewhere, including animals, incapacity of the person to stop feeling pain, and ignorance of us, social failure of all, including all worldwide experts, in as prompt and possible communication as possible, to reduce that person's pain that is per person as source, Person begs, please kill me, I cannot stand it. You tried all of the medication, you've tried everything, and person begs, I cannot stand, please kill me. You tried all of the physical examination, nothing, and person begs, I am in pain, please help me. You seek then, like fire, in a review of medication, if there was something pre-exist. You seek torture, you seek harassment around, you seek that fear. You never in any individual, a person has such, as opposed to pain indication of upcoming or possible death, never. In presence of regeneration, never. That leads a person, because it's illogical also, not only well, from any side, also biologically. Person never has pain indicative of pursuit of nothing more than remediation from that person's environmental inner and outer factors of being harassed, threatened, inflicted pain, or side effects of forced medications or actions. That's all there is to it. In failure of alleviation, for example, we cannot change that person misses someone and or does not obtain forgiveness. We tried spiritual assistance, etc., etc. That person still pursues in self regret. Regret is the only way actually to know. Person in regret, not guilt. Guilt, look for another person. In regret, profound regret and missing pursues as punishment death, dishonorable death, in contempt to self. That is when person we grant that death penalty. Only person does not agree, we failed at system of justice. There's no other. Second, now, if person in pain, we consulted all, we tried all, we cannot alleviate pain, and person is asking for alleviation of suffering, we do not prevent death, and we offer, in certain states it's possible occur, assisted suicide or euthanasia. And that is failure of the system, and you, each and every person, I encourage you, take that up within medical license. And if you then are not motivated enough to do research and seek for solutions and cures, like review of my videos, you have to understand it is because you do not kill in person. Machine set up to kill is killing. You are killing. And so knowing so, you need to know psychologically, you cannot kill in contempt, being a physician, or delegating. You cannot kill in hatred. That is still sign of remorse in that person, insufficient in your work to actually establish who is at fault, you included, and you ignored. And that person not being at fault is being killed as a victim. So murder, you're committing murder. And third one, if you kill in fear, you are not now in system of justice, but blackmailed with being done the same, to killed or harmed, scared, by that person or by others. And that is another source of what it is that you are missing in lacking faith in of the universe, to not be in that situation that, it hurts, I'm not gonna do that because it hurts me, I want to survive. All of us are like that. What makes you like that in fear? Not trust that as tendency of all persons around, that is the source of the universe to pursue elimination of another human being, and then having that realization that it is wrong and that you've done something horrible. Ignorance, ladies and gentlemen. Ignorance is number one cause. When it is done intentionally, also ignorance. So fear is not you scared, you delegate to another person who says, if that person I've exhausted and corroborated with all of sages having full license, that is what that license is for. Full license, I corroborated with all, excluding even if a fly and can be translated has source to help that person, I've exhausted. In public, in mass media and courts, life or death, I can attest I exceeded everything, exhausted everything to alleviate suffering of that person. And then I took an action as best action and killed that person. That is under medical license. Euthanasia, death penalty, as failure of the system. And third, that is also the assisted suicide, when person does it themselves, like in Mar Adentro. There are no other circumstances. Other circumstances is failure. Failure in work, failure in